Trump's nominee for Surgeon General had her confirmation hearing in front of the Senate today, and boy, did Democrats dismantle her credibility right in front of her and really put her nomination in jeopardy before she can even start trying to whip votes to get confirmed before it goes to a full Senate vote. Now, before we walk through some of those clips, I want to give you background here. The nominee for Surgeon General, her name is Casey Means. I am going to show you some screenshots of her lack of credibility, because it is truly stunning that this is who Trump decided to nominate as the top public health official in the country. First of all, she is a Maha influencer and conspiracy peddler on a number of different things, anything from food to vaccines to women's health. And it is a sad state we have reached in this country where a health influencer from Instagram is Donald Trump's nominee to be the lead public health official in the country. Now, in terms of her credentials, she went to medical school. However, she didn't finish her residency. So she did not go through that full process. She only ended up having enough work to get a medical license in Oregon, and she became a functional doctor, not a full doctor. She was working in a branch of alternative medicine as opposed to working as a full doctor. And then after that, she founded a company that pushes glucose monitors on non-diabetics, and she pushes various healthy supplements through her newsletter and her Instagram. She is truly all things influencer, but she went to medical school first. But she's not a full doctor. And the issue is she's said crazy stuff over the years. Another good thing I want to show you, or a quote I want to show you, is her pushing raw milk as a viable thing for people to drink, despite concerns about it being really dangerous for older people, young children, people with undeveloped microbiomes because of potential dangerous bacteria in that milk. Even bird flu has been found in raw cow's milk if cows have bird flu. This is what she said about raw milk when asked about it. She said, her quote unquote, as this article says, foolproof way of avoiding harmful bacteria is just have a free relationship with a local farmer to understand their integrity, pet the cow, and decide if after that interaction it's safe enough to drink the raw milk from them. That sounds like a real great thing that the FDA can legitimize for people. And so, look, this nomination has already been questioned by a lot of people, but her nomination hearing today did not make things any easier for her. She was caught in multiple lies of basically, after having called certain things dangerous over the course of many years, basically being a fraud and lying about her principles and pushing dangerous things, that she had claimed were bad for her whole career. And I want to start with Senator Angela Alsobrooks from Maryland, just as a great dismantling here of her hypocrisy as part of the Maha movement. So I'll show you that to you. I clipped it together a little bit, but take a look at what she had to say.
From a company called Peak.
Yes.
Okay, and in your newsletter number 33, you acknowledge that Peak has sponsored you. Now, were you aware that this company was served notice under California's Proposition 65 for containing and failing to disclose that lead, above the allowable amounts, a carcinogen and reproductive toxin, was present?
I just want to repeat, I've worked with the Office of Government Ethics. I'm not going to be taking any financial
but we're talking about
compensation.
you are railing out against pharmaceutical companies that you say are advertising these products that mislead the public, and yet you've received compensation from companies, and you've promoted them in your newsletter, and you're doing the same thing the pharmaceutical companies are doing by advertising and influencing people for these products that have been deemed to be unsafe.
You heard that. So a product was deemed to have unsafe levels of lead in it. And even after that, Casey Means continued to get compensated and push it to people through her newsletter. This is a person who claims that they care deeply about the health and safety of the American people, claim that everything out there in traditional medicine or kind of normal medicine is unsafe, and tries to push her alternative conspiracy theories about health. And the products she is profiting from while she pushes those conspiracies are more unhealthy for the American people than the things she is railing against. Now, this isn't the only topic that she was sort of cornered on by Democrats. She was asked by Senator Patty Murray of Washington about the safety of birth control for women, and it asked her about past comments she's made, and she kind of froze like a deer in the headlights and couldn't just give Patty Murray a simple yes or no answer about the safety and efficacy of women's birth control. Let's take a look.
You called birth control pills, I'm going to quote, a disrespect of life. And you said Americans, quote, use birth control pills like candy. You also claimed, contrary to established science, that hormonal birth control has, quote, horrifying health risks for women.
I'm curious if you're aware of what the side effects of hormonal contraception are.
I'm curious if you are with the FDA that went through all of these and rigorously looked at them, or as Surgeon General, if you're going to tell the truth to the American people.
The answer is she's probably not going to tell the truth. We've already seen her cover up, as I mentioned, the compensation she's received from a number of companies that are pushing unsafe products already. And what I get worried about here is someone like this with this type of thinking, as opposed to actually letting women make those decisions with their doctors, that she and RFK are going to do everything they can to crack down on the prescription and the use of female birth control, because that is what so much of the people in this administration do, is trying to control women wherever they can. And this feels like a new target for them, especially with who they're trying to establish as the new Surgeon General. Now, Senator Ed Markey from Massachusetts asked a very interesting question to Casey Means about if she supports the Trump administration's new push to increase production of a chemical herbicide in the country. That was an executive order he just signed last week. Now, RFK, after saying for years that he is going to be this, champion to get rid of pesticides in our food and in our products, he caved and endorsed Trump's executive order to increase the production of this pesticide in the US, and also endorsed what the executive order did, which is that it doesn't hold any of those companies legally liable for health harms that are caused to American citizens as a result of being in our food. Now, RFK, that is what so much of RFK's time has been about. It has just been about, claiming he's going to do something and then backtracking on everything he's claimed he was going to help Americans with when he took over this role. And things that were of the Trump administration's policies, some of the more popular ones, he hasn't seen any of those through. There's that with the pesticides, with trying to remove dyes from our food. The administration created a loophole for companies to basically still keep dyes in our food. They basically said if it's not petroleum based, then they can claim they're free of artificial dyes. Well, there are a lot of other chemicals you can use to make food dyes, and RFK hasn't said a word about it. Now, Ed Markey asked Casey Means about this pesticide executive order. Let's see what she had to say.
Yes or no? Do you think President Trump's executive order promoting the production of glyphosate, which you yourself have said likely causes cancer, will put American families' health at risk?
Senator Markey, you and I both know that these issues around agriculture and health are extremely complex.
These are cancer-inducing chemicals. According to your own statements.
We must, as a country, move away from using toxic inputs in our food supply, and we must study these chemicals more to understand their effects. I am very gravely concerned about the health impacts of these chemicals.
I understand that. Doctor, I'm just trying to help you to agree with yourself.
And that's what I loved today, and how Democrats went about this was it's just them using her own words against her, because all of these Maha people are frauds. They claimed they were going to do this stuff. Some of that stuff was actually popular with a broad swath of the American people, and they went back on all of it because they are corrupt and they are only interested in helping themselves. Casey Means is no exception to that. I want to wrap up with Bill Cassidy, the senator from Louisiana, asking her about the MMR vaccines amidst a horrible measles outbreak in the South right now, which is widely blamed on RFK's lack of management of it and his decades of pushing a vaccine skepticism on people that has decreased the vaccine rate in this country. And Let's see what she had to say.
I would work with you, the CDC, the NIH, ACIP,
But would you encourage
FDA.
mothers to vaccinate their children with the MMR vaccine, seeing how we've had children die and this outbreak in South Carolina?
I'm supportive of vaccination. I do believe that each patient, mother, parent needs to have a conversation with their pediatrician about any medication they're putting in their body or their children's
You're
bodies.
the nation's doctor. Would you encourage her to have her child vaccinated?
I'm not an individual's doctor, and every individual needs to talk to their doctor before putting a medication in their body. I absolutely am supportive of the measles vaccine, and I do believe vaccines save lives and are an important part of the public health strategy.
We've had
Now, notice that she can't just say, I would recommend the MMR vaccine to people, which is what she should have said. It was all of this equivocating and trying to distract and bring up other things and saying, well, of course I trust things. Just say, yes, I would recommend the MMR vaccine to people because it would save children's lives, unlike the ones who have died in the measles outbreak in the South over the past year due to RFK. This has been, we'll see what happens with her nomination. Bill Cassidy is going to be a big swing vote in this. Of course, Bill Cassidy famously, after displaying a lot of skepticism about RFK's nomination to run Health and Human Services, ended up caving and being spineless and voting for RFK Jr. anyway, even though he claims he now regrets it. Do I have faith in Bill Cassidy growing a spine right now? Not exactly, but Casey Means also certainly didn't do herself any favors in this confirmation hearing today. That is it for me today. If you liked what you saw, throw a like on this video, follow the Demwins Media YouTube channel, follow me at buildingthebench.substack.com, and we will keep bringing you the news as you need to see it. Thanks for watching.